Do you experience back pain often? Have you tried everything, stretching, medicine, new pillow, and nothing works? Well, you know, the problem may not even be in your body, but in his soul. Yes, the truth is that your spiritual spine may be trying to warn you about something much bigger than a simple clumsiness. And almost no one told you that. What you feel can be part of a powerful process, the awakening of the Kundalini, an ancestral energy that rises up your spine and begins to transform everything. However, unlike what they are romanticizing out there, this process does not come only with lights and vibrations. It comes with pain, confusion, and deep blockages, the infamous blocked chakras that cause more than physical symptoms. They cause spiritual back pain, emotional stagnation, and a feeling of emptiness that you don't know where it comes from. The most shocking? Science still ignores much of this. As you take anti-inflammatory after anti-inflammatory, your body screams for energy healing. But calm down, there is a way. A way to interpret the signs, unlock this energy and understand how your spine carries, vertebra by vertebra, your true spiritual map of the body. You're about to understand all of this, and perhaps, for the first time, break free. There are those who look at the spine only as a set of bones, muscles, and nerves. But the wise see in it the true spiritual map of the body, where each vertebra holds secrets of the soul. Do you know that curve in the lower back or that stiffness in the shoulders? It can be much more than posture. Often, it is unresolved memories, pains from other lives and even spiritual symptoms that materialize there. The evolution of the soul leaves traces, and the spine is where these traces accumulate, as if it were a silent diary. Everything that has not been cured, it remains there. Notice the posture of someone who has gone through great traumas. Slumped shoulders, hunched back. That's the body talking. It is the spiritual column telling stories of fear, rejection, abandonment. Each vertebra is a spiritual energy point that aligns, or not, with our emotional and spiritual states. When there are blocked chakras, it is common to feel spiritual back pain that no painkiller solves. That is why, before treating with medicine, it is necessary to treat with awareness. The body never lies, it just needs to be heard. A good example is the person who lives overloaded and develops tension in the upper back. If you ask, she'll tell you she's carrying the world on her back. Well, the body turned this metaphor into reality. And that's where chakra alignment comes in. When this energy flows correctly, lightness returns. The emotional weight dissipates. The wisdom is in realizing that the physical and the spiritual are not separate, they dance together. A wrong movement in the soul can lock the lumbar. It's no coincidence that so many people with chronic pain don't find relief from conventional treatments. Because, you see, it's not just about muscles and bones, it's about stories. The column is like a library of the soul, where each record records chapters of our existence. When we talk about energy healing, we talk about rewriting these chapters, with awareness and intention. And that starts with the simple, yet powerful, attitude of looking within, of questioning what your pain is trying to tell you. Now think about children. They are born with a flexible, free, pure spine. But as they grow, they begin to stiffen. Why? Because they begin to absorb the weight of the world, of their parents, of the demands. It is at this point that the awakening of the Kundalini becomes vital. It represents the return to flexibility, not only of the body, but of the energy. A powerful spiritual energy that rises, unblocks, purifies. Only. This awakening does not come without pain. It's not always pretty. But it is liberating. And it is precisely this liberation that leads many to the beginning of a process that has no turning back. A path where the signs are no longer ignored, and are respected. Because when the soul awakens, it demands listening. And then, the pain that was once punishment, becomes a guide. And if you look closely, you'll see that tingling in your back may not be just an inflamed nerve. It can be the silent call of your soul, making room for a new cycle. Most people view back pain as a consequence of a bad night's sleep, poor posture, or overwork. But what if I told you that, many times, this pain is an attempt by your body to wake you up spiritually? That's right, tension in the back can be one of the first spiritual symptoms of Kundalini awakening. When energy starts moving down your spiritual spine, it pushes old blockages, and it hurts. The pain is real, but the cause may be invisible to the eye. There are those who feel constant pressure between the shoulder blades. Others report a weird tingling in the lower back that appears out of nowhere. These manifestations can be signs of blocked chakras, trying to open by force. And when this energy stagnates, the body suffers. Spiritual energy wants to flow, but it encounters emotional walls and old traumas. The result? Pain, tiredness, inexplicable crises. But all of this is, in fact, an invitation to look inside. There are people who live taking muscle relaxants when what they really need is to relax their soul. Have you ever seen someone who starts to feel intense pain right after an emotional crisis? This is no coincidence. Pain can come right after a big loss, a breakup, a disappointment. These are moments when the soul is vulnerable, and the spiritual spine reacts. The body tries to maintain balance, but if the soul is decompensated, there is no physiotherapy that solves it without a deeper look. A classic example, that annoying pain at the base of the spine that insists on appearing in times of financial insecurity. It is the root chakra screaming for stability. The body translates into pain what the soul cannot say with words. And the curious thing is that, many times, a small action is enough, such as meditating for 5 minutes a day, walking barefoot on the ground, practicing gratitude, for the pain to begin to ease. It sounds like magic, but it's just the alignment of the chakras starting to take effect. Notice, your body speaks, but its language is symbolic. When we ignore these signs, what was subtle becomes chronic. It's as if the soul says, "Hey, look at me." And the only way it finds is pain. Because of this, it is essential to interpret what spiritual back pain is trying to communicate. It is not about eliminating pain at any cost, but understanding what it represents in your soul evolution. Because it can be the beginning of a much deeper path. And this path involves learning to listen to the body with spiritual eyes. And make no mistake, the more resistance, the stronger the call. The pain, in this case, is only the messenger. The message? It's hidden between the lines of what you feel, and it will start to make more sense when you understand the true language of the body. There is a quiet wisdom in the body that few really listen to. While the mind is distracted by tasks, notifications, and worries, the body continues to emit signals, small alerts that accumulate. That weight between the shoulder blades, the stiffness in the nape of the neck, the sting in the lower back. None of this is random. They are codes of body language, asking for attention. Ignoring these signs is like covering your ears while someone screams for help. In many cases, it's your spiritual map of the body trying to show you a path to healing. Most people try to shut up the body with medication, rather than asking what it is trying to say. What would be different if, when you feel a discomfort in your back, you ask yourself, what am I not facing in my life right now? Perhaps the answer is linked to fear, insecurity, lack of emotional expression. Spiritual symptoms manifest themselves when we do not give vent to what we feel. When we repress too much, the body is in charge of letting go for us. And let go, in pain. There's a phrase that I really like: if you don't hear your body whispering, you'll have to hear it scream. It is exactly like that with the blocked chakras. First comes the slight, almost imperceptible discomfort. Then, the discomfort. When you least expect it, you're in chronic pain, stuck in cycles of frustration. And all of this could be avoided if there was a simple habit: listening. Guided meditation, therapeutic writing, silent practices. All of this helps to translate this language. For example, when you feel a tightness in the middle of your back right after a conflict with someone, it is the heart chakra manifesting a blockage. And no, it's no use just applying an arnica gel. The body wants you to forgive, to release yourself, to cry if necessary. Energy healing starts at that level of honesty with what you feel. Ignoring this is like trying to paint a moldy wall without treating the infiltration. Sooner or later, the mold comes back. Therefore, the invitation here is simple, but profound: be present in your body. Observe the patterns. When does the pain appear? At what times? What emotions were present? Spiritual energy has this ability to leave physical traces. And the more aware you become of this, the clearer the message becomes. The body ceases to be a burden, and becomes an oracle. A faithful messenger of your soul evolution. And it is when you begin to decipher these messages that the path of transformation opens up. You realize that that tension that has been with you for months may be directly linked to something that is unresolved within you. And in this process of deciphering, unexpected connections emerge, and the next step reveals itself: understanding how the chakras and spine are deeply intertwined. Few people know, but every bit of your spine is connected to one of the 7 major chakras. That's right, from the bottom to the top, the spiritual spine is like a road on which spiritual energy flows. And if there is a blockage on this path, the traffic stops. The pain appears, the fatigue comes, and the body accuses. This is why neck pain can originate from an imbalance in the throat chakra, while lower back pain can be related to the root chakra. Everything is connected, literally. Imagine that your chakras are centers of force that need to be spinning in harmony. When one of them crashes, it is as if the thread of light in your soul is half extinguished. Then come the spiritual symptoms: stagnation, a feeling of heaviness, inexplicable pain. And when these blockages persist, the body begins to show, accurately, where the problem lies. An example. Low back pain usually indicates material insecurity. Heavy shoulders, on the other hand, can be linked to excessive responsibilities. The sacral chakra, for example, connects with the pelvic and lumbar region. Blockages there generate physical pain, yes, but they also block the pleasure of living, creativity, and spontaneity. And this is reflected in posture, mood, and even libido. When the person begins to work on this energy, with practices such as meditation, dance, or even crystal therapies such as carnelian, the flow returns. And it is not uncommon that, along with physical relief, there is also a wave of emotional well-being. At the level of the stomach, we have the solar plexus, which relates to our self-esteem and personal power. If you feel constantly invalidated or without control over life, this region tends to become tense, even inflamed. It's as if the body screams, "Hey, where's your strength?" Energy healing at this point involves techniques such as Reiki, positive affirmations, and personal empowerment practices. Because aligning the chakras is so much more than feeling peace, it's reconnecting with your own essence. At the base of the spine, the root chakra resides. When it is misaligned, the person feels as if the floor is opening up. Insecurities, fears, feeling of being lost. And this, of course, reflects on the lower back. The good news is that this is one of the fastest chakras to stabilize with simple actions: contact with nature, more grounded food, connection with family and roots. These habits help align the chakras and restore a sense of security. And it is as you understand this dance between spine and chakras that you begin to realize how subtly perfect everything is. The body, the soul, the energy. Everything has a rhythm. And when that rhythm is interrupted, pain arises, not as a punishment, but as a reminder. And if this energy begins to move from the bottom up, like an ascending spiral, perhaps you are on the verge of a powerful phenomenon, the awakening of the Kundalini. Imagine a sleeping snake at the base of your spine, coiled patiently, waiting for the right moment to awaken. This is the classic metaphor for the awakening of the Kundalini, one of the most intense experiences of the spiritual path. When this energy activates, it rises up the spiritual spine like a lightning bolt, activating each chakra along the way. And no, it's not just a moment of ecstasy, it's an internal revolution. The person begins to see, feel and understand things that were previously off the radar. It's like turning on a spotlight in the attic of the soul. But, let's face it, this process is not always smooth. Often, it begins with disconcerting spiritual symptoms, insomnia, chills, warm sensations in the spine, unexplained emotional crises. The person thinks they are going crazy. But it is not. It is awakening. The spiritual energy that was stagnant begins to circulate, pushing blockages, revealing old pains. And then the body responds, tingling in the lower back, tremors in the sacrum, pressure in the back of the neck. There are people who report a heat wave going up their spine, as if something was lighting up from the inside out. Others feel as if they are vibrating inside, even lying in silence. It's intense. And it's real. What few say is that the awakening of the Kundalini is like vacuuming the soul, it lifts the dirt before leaving everything clean. That is why many feel a mixture of fascination and fear. The transformation is profound. And it requires courage. On this journey, the spiritual column becomes the great road of purification. Each pain point can be a portal to healing, if you know how to cross it with presence. Therefore, practices such as deep meditation, Kriya Yoga, mantras, and the use of crystals such as serpentinite or black obsidian are precious allies. They help to conduct this energy with more balance. After all, waking up without preparation is like lighting a rocket without direction. It is common for the person to start questioning everything, their relationships, their purpose, even their own identity. This is because the evolution of the soul gains a new rhythm. The old truths are no longer useful. And in the body, this manifests itself in energy spikes, followed by total exhaustion. The body needs to adapt. And the soul, to relearn how to inhabit this new spiritual vehicle that is being built. At this moment, knowing that pain has a purpose makes all the difference. But it is important not to get carried away by romanticizations. Because not everything that shines is lighting. The awakening of the Kundalini also brings out what you would rather keep buried. Karma, repressed memories, deep wounds, everything comes to light. And when that happens, you understand that this process is as challenging as it is sacred. And then the most delicate part begins, dealing with all this consciously, without running away. Because true healing requires presence. It's easy to fall in love with the idea of spiritual elevation, chakras glowing, aura expanded. But anyone who has really gone through the Kundalini awakening knows, the business is intense. It's not just peace, light and incense. It is also pain, confusion, sleepless nights and deep existential questions. The spiritual column becomes an avenue through which karmas, traumas, old fears pass. And many of these contents come as a punch in the stomach, or rather, a pressure right in the middle of the back. During this process, it is common for long-forgotten memories to surface. Things from childhood, family traumas, and even pains that you swear are not yours, and maybe they really aren't. They can be emotional or even karmic inheritances. And then, the pain in the spiritual back intensifies, not by punishment, but by revelation. The body begins to release what the soul could not. And at this point, the person needs support, discernment, and practices that sustain this cleansing. It's like cleaning your soul and finding boxes of memories that you didn't even remember existed. Some are light, others heavy as lead. When the blocked chakras begin to open, the flow of energy can be so strong that it temporarily throws the emotional out of balance. Therefore, it is essential to take care of the physical body during awakening. Clean eating, rest, hydration, coarse salt bath, and contact with nature help to sustain the transition. Without this, the body suffers. Have you ever had that feeling of carrying a pain that has no logical explanation? As if something pulls you back, even for no apparent reason? That's that. Many of these pains are old karmic scars, registered there in your spiritual spine. Believe me, she keeps more than memories of this life. It stores experiences from other incarnations, as a hidden hard drive of your spirit. And when the time is right, that content begins to rise to the surface, often through pain. That persistent pain in the lower back that no exam explains. Maybe it's the echo of a past life where you lost everything and were afraid to start over. Or that constant tension in the neck. It may have to do with situations of submission or repression of another existence. Spiritual back pain carries stories that the conscious mind cannot access, but that the body remembers. And you don't have to be a medium or psychic to feel that. It is enough to observe with presence and sensitivity. And this is where the concept of the spiritual map of the body gains more depth. Each vertebra, each point of the spine, can be connected to an old trauma. It is as if the soul had engraved there the records of what still needs to be healed. Some people access these memories in deep meditations, others during regression therapies or even in vivid dreams. And when they do, they often feel immediate relief. As if something old had finally been released. A powerful example, a woman who spent years with intense pain in the coccyx discovered, during a therapeutic session, that in a past life she had been punished in that same region. By welcoming this memory and working on forgiveness, the pain disappeared. This is what energy healing can do, release what is stuck, both in the body and in the soul. It's like defragmenting disk your energy field. And on top of that, unblock the blocked chakras. That is why, in processes of soul evolution, looking back is not a retrogression, it is wisdom. Often, to move forward, it is necessary to go back and release what was stuck in the way. And the spiritual column is the common thread of this journey. Working on these memories can involve fire rituals, the use of crystals such as black obsidian, an expert in bringing out shadows, and intuitive writing practices. All of this helps to clean the record of old memories. And as these scars are consciously touched, something magical happens. You feel lighter, more whole, more aligned. Energy flows more naturally, pain decreases, and clarity increases. Spiritual energy circulates fluidly again. And then, you're ready for a new level of integration, with practices that sustain this cleansing and this new version of you, the healing practices that strengthen this path. Now tell me, after all this, are you still going to treat your back pain as just another pain? Or will you start looking at it as a secret code of your soul, an urgent call from your spiritual spine? What if every sting, every strain, every tingle was trying to tell you something? Will you keep ignoring it or will you finally listen? Because believe me, while you pretend you don't feel it, your spiritual energy is locked, your chakras blocked, and your soul evolution stagnated. The pain can be bothersome, but what is it revealing, can transform your entire life. So what are you going to do with all of this? Will you apply? Are you going to start a breathing practice, a meditation, or at least a closer observation of your body today? Because now you know, your body speaks. His spine holds the secrets. And it is only up to you to access this spiritual map of the body and open the doors of energy healing. Comment below, which part of the video touched you the most? In which part of your spine do you feel the most pain? I want to know your story, and help you decipher the signs. And of course, if you want to continue on this journey of awakening, healing, and expansion, subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this truth. Because transformation starts with the first step, and yours can be now.